What's up, everybody? Welcome to PLD Projects. I am your host, PLD, and this is kind of a new and interesting stream I'm doing. Interesting is a relative word, I guess, but it's a new kind of stream I'm doing. If you've been with me long, you've seen a lot of the podcasts I do on this channel already. We obviously have Class Action. We have Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film. We have Crown Jewels, and we have an upcoming one that I'm going to announce tonight. Now, this is a little bit different tonight. I want to say first, of course, happy holidays for everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Christmas time, festive season, whatever you celebrate. Hope you're having good fun with friends and family or by yourself. And if not, well, reach out. We're all here. We're all here in the same boat here. Now, what is this stream? Some might call me a little bit crazy. Some might say I'm not sitting on this long enough here and there. I mean, I am crazy. No doubt about that. But this is a little different. About a month or so ago, I did a PLD Projects update, kind of very similar to this, maybe 2 months ago, particularly October. So I had a little bit of an idea where I wanted to take things, but things develop as they were. I do think I'm going the right direction with some of my projects here and there. I'm very excited with the shows we've been doing. I've seen some growth, which I'm happy to say. Hopefully, you're here. And if you are new here, I'm not sure why you would choose an update or what's next for the channel. If you've never visited the channel, but I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to blame. I take the blame here, obviously, as Buckingham would say. Blame PLD. That's me. But I'm going to shake things up a little bit. I think it's going well. Like I said, if you are new here, hit that like, hit that subscribe. You'll learn more about us. We have some great content already, and we have some more great content on the way. I want to give a shout out first, of course, to my crew at PLD Projects. It's not just myself here. I got PJ Campbell, my mediocre white dude brother. We do a podcast every week. Right now, we're working our way through the Final Destination saga for our lovely patron, Brandy Parker. It's been a lot of fun doing that. I just watched the Final Destination, the fourth one today. That's going to be, I'm just going to say it's going to be an interesting show, I think. We might, if you like when we trash things, then you might like this show. Let's put it that way. That's a little spoiler. I also want to thank, of course, Matty Gunner and Richard Eric Jarvie. They are my Class Action brothers. And Matty Gunner is also going to be working with me on a new show, which we'll talk about soon enough. I also want to shout a quick shout out to Jacob Patrick, who does he does most of my thumbnails. He did do all of my thumbnails, but it's gotten to the point where it's a little expensive. I've been doing a lot more shows. I've been doing a lot more things. I've been doing some trailer reactions here and there. That's been new. I'll get into that as well. Jacob Patrick does all my thumbnails for Class Action, all my thumbnails for Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film. He did do the Crown Jewels thumbnails, but he will be doing my new podcast thumbnails as well. I've taken over a little bit. Hopefully, haven't you seen some of the thumbnails? I did the thumbnail tonight. I've been doing the thumbnails for the trailer reaction. They're passable enough, I hope. I can't ever reach Jacob Patrick's work, but he's a legend. But I also want to thank David B, who did a few of my theme songs. Matty Gunner's also done a theme song. And finally, I want to thank my son, Tyler Denuzia, who actually created that new intro that you saw just 2 seconds ago for the first time. It'll be in front of all of my stuff now here on PLD Products. I'm going to play it again because I like it so much. Good dude. I don't know. He's a good kid. He's learning a lot of things. It's a lot of fun getting to know him. He might actually pop on the channel here and there once in a while. He's been talking about doing some stuff. But that's still in the future. Let's talk about the history of the channel first. I don't want to bore you too much, but I kind of feel like we have to know where we were in order to know where we're going. Because this isn't just an announcement show. This isn't just me telling you guys what's happening. I want this to be a conversation about it. I have some ideas in mind. I have some questions about what I should do. I want to talk to you guys, see if you guys have any suggestions, some thoughts. I want to see what you would like to see. Maybe we could have a conversation about it, and maybe together we'll figure out what would be best for the channel and for me. Maybe I'm just having a shout into the void, and maybe an answer will come back to me. You know what I mean? It's like George Carlin. What are we? Why are we here? You asked the world. The world said we're here for plastic. You asshole. I don't know. Maybe something like that. But anyway, quick history. I started this channel a long time ago, probably about a decade ago, but I really only started doing anything with it around the time of the pandemic, so probably about in the past 2 years ago. And I started out very slowly. I started out as most of us do, just kind of trying some things here and there. I had a show called Second Views, which was about my favorite sci-fi TV show of all time, V, and that stopped about halfway through. I may go back to it. I've had some talks with Lego. I even know her in the community. She's a phenomenal woman who does a lot of great work with Rob Fishback, amongst others. We might revamp that and do a show together about V. I also did my first Star Wars show, which I called PLD 1138 because I'm clever like that. But as time went on, I got a little more serious with things a little bit. I got a little more invested in the space and started having my own thing. So I restarted a Star Wars show with friends. I finally gotten some friends to help me out with the channel. I just didn't like shouting to the void like I'm doing here now. I'm talking to myself. I prefer to do a show with people, give that back and forth. It always makes it a little easier, a little more fun. I know it's a little less awkward, really, because like I'm having somebody to talk back to. I can't really talk back to you. You guys don't can't really talk back to me in a way if you're not on screen. You can chat, you can throw Streamlabs in there, and I'll definitely have those conversations, but it's a little difficult. So I got a show together, which with Richard Eric Jarvie and Matty Gunner, and very briefly, for a brief time, we did have Bador, and we did the show Scoundrels of the Force, which is another Star Wars show we decided to do together. That lasted for a little while. I had a lot of fun with that. We developed that. We decided we wanted to do more than just Star Wars. We were kind of want to talk about a lot of other movies. The MCU was big and prevalent, a lot of things like that. So we decided we would scratch off that of the Force and just call ourselves Scoundrels Inc. Not Scoundrels Inc. That's actually a podcast by Kevin Smets, Frank Janis, Brandon Hanna, and Sean Sully. So they took the same Scoundrels, added the ink to it to do their Star Wars podcast. We just call ourselves Scoundrels. That was good for a while as well. But then at one point, Jarvie, I'll blame it on Richard Eric Jarvie. He wanted to do something a little more segmented, which is why we brought back Class Action, which is a show I had done with Richard Eric Jarvie on Action Industries channel. That was Richard and myself for the most part. We had a few guests here and there, including Maddie at one point. But it became the three of us, myself, Richard, and Maddie, and we've been doing Class Action ever since. But for a while, I only really had time to do one show a week. That's the only thing I had time for because I do have a full-time life, full-time gig. I have a wife and 3 kids. I also, at that point, was getting into working much more with not just Action Industries, but with the movie Trivia Schmodown. Many of you know that. Most of you know that. If you're here, you probably know that I was working there with PJ as the writer, one of the chief writers, and running the FCL, the Developmental League, things of that nature. So I didn't really have a lot of time to do more podcasts. But in working with PJ, I decided I really wanted to do something with him because he and I just gelled together on a lot of things. We had a lot of animated discussions. It's funny, at first we used to agree on everything, and now it seems like we almost agree on nothing. At least that's what it sometimes sounds like on the podcast. But we decided we wanted to do our show. That's how Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film came out. So I started doing 2 shows a week. I was already working with PJ, so I decided I would take some time with him to record while we were writing questions, things of that nature. So I had 2 shows. I picked up Crown Jewels on my own because I've always wanted to do a Queen podcast. That became my 3rd show. I thought that was kind of an easy pickup because, quite frankly, it's a short format show, like 10 minutes, could be up to 40 minutes at some point, but I could really record it whenever I wanted and throw it up whenever I wanted. So I had 3 shows going, and it was kind of fitting us pretty well. But at that time, I made a weird decision that I really can't. I don't know why I didn't. I'm not sure why I did it. I have a hard time justifying it now. It doesn't make sense to me now that I'm here, but back then it did. I had Class Action on YouTube. That was a live stream show. I went back and forth with Jarvie and Matty Gunner. And then I had the Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film. And that I decided with PJ at that point, we were going to do an audio only podcast. So I said, I'm not going to put that on YouTube. I'll just put that up wherever you can get all your podcasting. You have Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those. I'd have them. I keep them separate. Mike, Bethany just asked why PLD is talking. Well, I'm just talking about the channel. You know, if there's any suggestions for me on the channel, let me know. I'm just telling you what we're doing, what we're going to be doing. Mike Deacon's actually going to be a guest soon. That's a spoiler. We have to talk to Mike about an upcoming guest spot on Crown Jewels. Just so you know, that's a little spoiler right there. There's an announcement for you. And that's going to be the biggest show of the year when I have Mike Deacon on from What's the Show podcast. And Get Drunk, yes. Well, so I had these differences. Crown Jewel was also a audio-only podcast. So I Class Action every week on the channel, on this channel, and I had the 2 meter for white twos on film, and I also had Crown Jewels on audio. And I decided as time went on, I really just I wanted to create a real network. I mean, I call myself PLD Projects. My feed on Spotify and the other channels is the PLD Projects Network. So why do I keep things separate? Why am I having things separate? I really want to put everything together. Everything I've ever done as far as it goes, but that's mine, really. Um, Drunk, hey Mike, I should do that too. I really should. Maybe after the show, I will. Hey Ben, good to see you as well as always. So with that in mind, I really started working towards putting everything, both audio and visual. With too many different ways to use on film, that's when PJ and I decided to actually start filming real instead of just doing the audio. We would film our podcast like a YouTube live stream, just not live, and so we could put the audio up on normal podcast feed, like with the video up here. So it ended up being both that way. I also wanted to put Crown Jewels on here. It's not a video podcast at all. The way I edit it makes it difficult to be a video podcast. There's a lot of stop and start, a lot of cuts, things like that nature. So I kind of compromise. I don't love doing it this way, but I compromise. I put up just the audio with a visual component of it. It doesn't do great on YouTube, but I figure as a completist as I am, I wanted to do it that way. I did, great, So from there, I also started bringing class action back, but it was so far down the line with class action that I couldn't just start there. I wanted to have the whole of class action, at least class action volume 2, which I'll get to, on the audio feed as well. So it's come to the point where I started throwing the older ones up. I'm trying to get as many up as I can. The eventual goal is to work to the point where I have them all up and I'm caught up. And we'll have the live stream on Tuesdays, which is a new announcement, by the way, because class action is moving back to Tuesdays. That's your first big announcement. Class action Tuesdays. It's been on Tuesdays all December. That's where it's going to stay. We put it on Tuesday live stream, and then I put it up on the audio podcast feed afterwards for those who want just the audio feed. Where was I there? No. So but I started doing that, but I have a problem with my hosting at this point, with my podcast hosting. It's expensive to do the podcast. I'm with Buzzsprout right now. I don't have any problem with Buzzsprout. I think they're a fine company. But the way they do is they charge a certain amount a month and I got the maximum price, the maximum tier, which is 12 hours per month of recording. Now I do a lot more than 12 hours at this point, especially more and more. At first I wasn't, but now I'm starting to do much more. So if you go over 12 hours, like additional $2 per hour. So with that, I don't submit our fees. I decided I want to kind of see if there was anything else out there. I found Acast, which is something I'm definitely looking into. Ken Knapsack, a friend of mine, who you all know very well from the movie Trivia Schmodown and the Schmoes as well, uses Acast with his Force Center feed. They love it. And I found that you can do unlimited uploads with them. That might be more my speed. But then it comes to the point of how do I do it? I don't know if I want to go to Acast yet. I'm trying to still figure that out. The idea is I think I'm going to be going to Acast, which means that I will be uploading everything else much quicker pace. Because I've been going 1 or 2 times a week with the old class actions. So I only have so much time and so much extra money to spend on it. I can get them all up at once. I can just get there quickly. I was going to say. Hey, Lego in the chat, I just mentioned you a little while back. If you just got here, rewind, you can hear your name. We talked about our possible V show that we might do eventually, that we talked about briefly for a short amount of time. Steve, always good to see you, my friend. Ed Harris being on the show would be great. That'd be awesome. I still am threatening to do the Harris dance at some point. I think I found a way to maybe do it, but I'm not ready to announce that yet. But beyond that, so if I go to Acast, it's a time of regeneration for me in a way. It's definitely a time. There's one of the reasons I'm having this show. I'm trying to decide exactly how I want to do this. Right now, my audio podcast feed has all the shows. I have different thumbnails for each show, but it's basically the PLD Projects Network feed, which means I have class action there. I have 2 mediocre white dudes on film there, and I have Crown Jewels there. And I start wondering, I start doubting myself. I mean, it's a very weird conglomerate of shows, especially having the Queen show with the movie show. I could have a very niche of Queen fans that might want to just listen to Crown Jewels, or fans that just like Patty Gunner just wants to listen to class action. So do I make them? So at this point, though, they have to they're subscribed to PLD Projects. They would have to skip through when I have a new episode come out. They have to see which episode it is, which show it is. So I could with Acast, I can do it. With Buzzsprout, I couldn't. With Buzzsprout, it'd be I'd have to get an extra account for each channel, for each show, so to speak, to do it. With Acast, I could, technically speaking, for the price of one account, have 4 different feeds going. The new show, which I'm going to announce shortly, Class Action, Jamaica Wages on Film, and Crown Jewels. So then if I do that, which sounds like a possibility of things, the other question comes in, do I decide to somehow go in there and break them all up and re-upload them into their separate feeds? Do I just do it from then on out and just point them back to the originals? Kind of decisions I have to make, and I haven't quite figured out what's the best. Acast themselves can't do it. Oh, the Acast support that I talked to said there are people out there who can do that. So it might be worth myself exploring that. But I don't know what you guys think about that. Maybe anybody out there who's watching, if you guys think, what do you guys think? Are you guys thinking that PLD projects could stay in one feed and just have all the shows in the one feed? Does it work for you guys that way? Or do you guys only listen to one show? And would it feel better if we had just 4 separate feeds? It's not going to change the YouTube at all. Obviously, YouTube, everything's going to be on this YouTube channel because I have playlists and everything. I can go at least group them that way, if nothing else. But it's kind of it's a question I do have. But that's one of the big things I got to talk about. Another thing I want to talk about briefly. Now's a good time to mention the Patreon, patreon.com/PLD Projects. I want to shout out a couple of patrons already out here. Daniel Ramirez, Brandon Buckingham, Brady Parker, Jeff Alterman, John Lastrina, Kelly W., Partis Dason, and a few others. I really thank you for keeping the lights on for me. We have a great Facebook chat, and if you're at a certain level, you can request franchises for myself and PJ to cover on Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film. In fact, we're doing that now with Brandy Parker. We are doing the Final Destination series because of Brandy Parker. We do have one coming up from Kelly W., which I don't think I'll announce yet, but it's not on brand at all. It's very much not on brand, but it's going to be interesting. It's always interesting. But we're always talking about doing different stuff in there. And after this show tonight, we're actually going to have a Patreon exclusive stream. We're going to have some fun there. I'm not sure exactly what we're doing yet, but it should be fun. But I wanted to let you know, if you look in the description of this video down below, you'll see something called the PLD bonus. I discovered that I had created a YouTube channel a long time ago, a really long time ago. And I had it was under the name Socks Talon, which is one of my old AIM feeds, and I got to use it for emails and things like that. I kind of forgotten I had that channel. And it built up 151 subscribers. I really didn't do much work on it. All I really did was I uploaded some rare Queen stuff for myself. And I did some Queen remixes that I had done. I'm going to probably put some more up there. I still have some other Queen remixes I had done and never uploaded. In fact, though, I had forgotten so much about it. It had probably been 10 years since I had looked at it. I found it and realized one of my remixes had like over 110,000 views. I was like, wow, that's more than anything I've ever done. So it's kind of a strange thing. So I've rebranded it at this point. I didn't want to shut it down. I figured I'd keep it there. I'm going to take just the PLD bonus. I might do some live streams there. I'll probably do some Patreon stuff there. Stuff that I'm still trying to figure out the algorithm for YouTube. I've heard different tales about how unlisted videos and private videos aren't great here and there and one thing. So maybe I'll do some things more on the bonus channel that I don't want on, like, for example, on the main channel. I will upload the rest of the Queen remixes I have, but as I make them, I'm not going to make any big deal about them. They're not great. I'm not a great remixer at all. I'm an idea guy. I'm not an executor when it comes to the technicalities of remixes or video editing, things like that. But I can throw it up there because it's what they can do. If you yell at me for sucking, hey, I know I suck when it comes to that stuff, but it's still fun. I think you can still listen and get the idea of what I'm going for. Speaking of that, that actually, I found a video on that PLD bonus channel, something else that I had forgotten about a long time ago. I have since privated it because I then was able to search my hard drives and I found the updated version of it that I had found. And I'm going to upload that to the main channel. There's another announcement. The main channel is going to have, as of tomorrow, you'll have a new video. If I get the screenshot up, I forgot to upload the screenshot. So let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I'll upload that. It's an edited video that I made from back in 2007, around there. Fall of the Chosen One. Yes. Follow the Chosen One. What it was I took footage from the Star Wars saga, as a big Star Wars fan as I am, episodes 1 through 6. Remember, this is all before Disney. This is all before the Clone Wars. And to Coldplay's Fix You, I created a theme, almost like a trailer that went into the song. Again, idea guy. I think it's a great idea, but it's not exactly the best. It's old footage. It's kind of not the best high def, not high def footage. I don't think, but it actually is kind of effective. I'm not going to lie. It is kind of effective. What's up, Ed? Good to see you. So for tomorrow, I'm going to have that debut on this channel because it's a special birthday present to myself. Why not? I'm not going to do this all the time. I'm probably never going to edit a video again. Maybe I will. Who knows? But I will put it up there for the channel for you guys to watch. I hope you guys watch it. I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you feel about it. It'll be special for that. The reason why I'm doing it also is to celebrate the new show I'm going to be doing. That's right. I kind of talked about it. If you listen to me on Class Action, I kind of mentioned it a few times. Maddie, Gunner, and myself are going to be starting a new show on January 4th. That's right. That's why Class Action is going to move to Tuesdays. Crown Jewels will still upload on Fridays. Too Many for Wait Tues on Film will upload on Thursdays, I believe. Maddie and I are going to try to pre-record a show on Wednesday and then turn around and get it out by Wednesday night. Wednesday, January 4th being the first episode of our new Star Wars podcast. Holy Snokes! Yeah, it's a kind of a fun channel. It's a fun title, I thought. Thank again to Jacob Patrick for making that thumbnail for me. We're going to be reviewing the Bad Batch as that's premieres. We're going to be reviewing The Mandalorian when it comes out, and we're going to be doing other Star Wars stuff. I can't stop with the Star Wars. I love Star Wars so much, but I try to have a Star Wars show. I get rid of Star Wars show, and they just keep coming back. So I'm just going to give into it. Myself and Maddie have been wanting to talk Star Wars again for a long time. We have a segmented show we're going to build up. We're not going to review it the same way as other people. We don't want to go beat through beat for the show. We want to kind of have a couple segments to go through. We're going to do some other fun Star Wars stuff as well. So hopefully you guys will join us on that journey. That's another reason why the Fall of the Chosen One is it's a good thing to have going tomorrow. The rest of the stuff we will talk about. The only other thing I have to talk about this channel itself is I have been doing some trailer reactions recently. I hope you've seen those. I hope you've liked those. I can't see myself ever doing one of those reaction shows where like I watch Andor episode 3 and walk the whole thing and cut it. It just seems like it's a lot of work for a time I don't have, and unless this channel really explodes, it doesn't seem like it's a time for me to do it. It'd be a lot of wasted energy, wasted time for little results, to be honest with you. I don't have amazing views yet anyway. I have the one Class Action, which is an anomaly, which I don't know how, but it got like 16,000 views. I have no idea how that happened. I've tried to capture that ever since. It's never quite happened. Now I get like basically 100 to 150 views on Class Action. And the other ones are getting up to like 80, 90 views. Hopefully it'll start building more. I have gotten a few more subscribers, which is nice. Ever since Christian retweeted my tweet for asking for subscribers, I'm going up to about 333, I believe, a third of the way to that magic 1,000. Hopefully that will still build as well. I don't see myself, like I said, doing those kind of shows, but trailer reactions are something I can do quick. Like I said, I can make up a quick thumbnail and I can react to trailers and get them up and see what happens. Hopefully you've seen a few. If you've liked them, hopefully you do. I try to be just quick and honest. I'm not exploring it. I'm not doing a deep dive into them. I'm just giving my honest reaction, my honest thoughts. And I'm not going to be doing reactions for everything. I didn't do the Barbie one. I'm only going to be doing the ones I'm really kind of interested in. Or if you guys tell me to do one, if my patrons tell me to do one. I mean, I did the one for 65 the other day because Jeff Alterman said, you should really look at that. I think you're really going to like it. So I said, okay, I'll do one. If it's a Star Wars thing, I'm going to do it. If it's a Marvel thing, I'll probably do it. I did a couple other. I did Indiana Jones. I did. But yeah, that's basically the gist of everything I wanted to talk about tonight. I just have to figure those things out. Breaking it apart, moving forward, all the same feed. I don't know. Everything will be on here though for now. It's everything's going to stay on here. In addition to that, I also want to announce. I mean, I kind of made this announcement before, not really an announcement, but I have finally taken all of the old class action. We're calling it Case Closed Class Action Volume One. Everything that Jarvie and I and guests had recorded and streamed on the Action Industries YouTube channel, with graciousness from Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy, I have since downloaded them from the Action Industries channel, and I have made them private on the Action Industries channel now. I re-uploaded them here. I did it unlisted because I didn't want to overwhelm everybody. I didn't want to overwhelm everyone, just all of a sudden have 50 new videos just thrown out at you. That's also not good for the algorithm from what I've heard as well. So I just uploaded them unlisted and I put them in a playlist. The playlist is public. You can find the class action playlist there if you want to look at the old and how we've developed the show since the beginning, when it was just, I believe the first episode was Dr. Sleep versus It, chapter 1, I believe. That was the beginning, before we have revamped it with Matt and Gunner for this channel. The other thing I have gone back and done is, since I only just recently started putting up the Crown Jewels, the video component to the Crown Jewels podcast, I had done a few before, but I wasn't really happy with it. I just really put up a thumbnail and the music. Now at least I have a little bit of a, whatever you call the bars or whatever. But I did go back. I made videos for every other one I had done so far. I uploaded them all at the same time as well, and I kept them unlisted for the same reason. Didn't want to overwhelm them. But they have their own, that in the playlist for Crown Jewels. I have every single Crown Jewels episode in the playlist. The new ones are just publicly listed because that's how they're going to be going every week. The rest of them are there. So the last thing I said I have to decide is when I do switch my hosting fees, probably in January. I will be uploading the rest of Class Action up to the podcast feeds, either in the one PLD Projects one or in the if I do separate ones. Let me know what you feel about that. Really, nobody's saying anything in the chat, and that's fine. If you leave a comment on the video afterwards, if you see it afterwards, reach out to me and give me your opinion on what you think would be better. I'm still trying to search for what I want to do on that note, but I will be putting up the rest of the class action either way. Hopefully, I think I might just bite the bullet and take the low sub count or take the low view counts, because it'd be overwhelming to have like a bunch of videos put up at once. Nobody's going to watch them all or listen to them all. They're just going to be a little bit overwhelming. I know, I get it. But if I get them all up, then I can go weekly at that point. Every time it'll be a new episode. It'll be a new episode, a real new episode. So that's it. If anybody has any questions, you can put them in the chat now, I guess. Anybody has any suggestions or anything? Otherwise, I will end soon and move on to the Patreon exclusive stream. I owe them. But let me know what you guys think. Anybody out there have any questions? I know Ed's out there, Kelly, Lego, Steve, always good to see you. Ben, Mike, if you're still here, Buckingham, love you guys. I really thank you for watching this. I thank you for supporting me. Just hitting that like button, watching the video, subscribing, just being my friend. I like that you guys are my friends. I can't say that any more clearly than that. I do still work around the community. I work for Christian Harloff, running his Patreon right now. But it does give me an opportunity, unlike the movie Trivia Schmodown, which is much more time consuming. It has given me the ability to start pushing this channel a little bit more. I'd like this channel to grow a little bit. I'm not a hustler. I'm not like any of the personalities like Christian or Dan Merle or Late to the Party, where that's their job. That is their livelihood. That's what they do. So every time news breaks, they're going live. Every time they go to the movies early, they are out there with reviews. Every time they do everything. I'm not that guy. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do that, unfortunately. But I would like to at least try to grow it as best I can, even if it's a slowly but surely thing. I would love to be able to get to monetize it eventually. But I do, yeah. Ben, thanks. I appreciate that. Sounds great. And Late to the Party, I did rig. I'm not professional like you guys. You guys kill it out there, and I really look. Late to the Party, I will shout them out specifically when I was working with Call to Action for the movie Trivia Schmodown. Before I worked for the movie Trivia Schmodown, they were very supportive of us. Always gave us some great advice. Always was just brilliant to talk to. Always very supportive, and even here. They're here watching me now, and I can't appreciate that enough. Um, I don't have the time or energy or skills that they have to do what they do, but hopefully, it's enough to keep you guys entertained. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, and we'll figure it out together. It's a great community. I just want to build it out a little bit more. It'd be wonderful to see. So, I guess that would probably do it for now. We're reaching about 30 minutes. Yeah, I guess that would be it. I want to thank you guys again. Much love for coming out. Much love for watching this. Spread the news if you can. I really appreciate that. And don't forget, of course, got shows coming up this week. My birthday special tomorrow is my old video. Hey, late to the party. You're in the chat. Late, you'll see it. I don't know. It's Robert or Vanessa. You can see how bad of an editor I am. You'll see that tomorrow. An editing job I did from 2007. But I'll celebrate it anyway. What the hell, right? We got that. Next week we got class action, of course. Avatar versus Avatar 2. Basically Jarvis' wet dream. We got Two Mediocre Way Twos on film. The final destination. And Crown Jewel. We're working our way through the Sheer Heart Attack album as well. Keep up the great work. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. Until next time, salute you guys. Take care. See you soon. Bye now.